My beloved child, from the beginning of time I have seen the path of your life long before you even realized you were walking upon it. I have held every movement of your soul as carefully as a potter knows every curve of the vessel he shapes. There has not been a single day of your life that was not written in my book. Every moment, every heartbeat, every breath carries a meaning far greater than you have ever imagined. And today, as you stand at the crossroads between weariness and longing, between hope and worry, I want to speak into your heart something your soul has not dared to believe. For a long time, you have never been abandoned, never forgotten, never once outside of my sight. I saw you from the beginning. I saw you before your form took shape. I saw you in the years when you could not yet tell right from wrong. And I saw you in those long nights when you thought you were lost in endless silence. I was there, always there, even when your emotions could not recognize my presence. You have walked through many turbulent seasons when your heart was like the sea constantly stirred by unpredictable waves. There were days you felt as strong as the wind atop the mountain, and nights when you felt so small that one more weight could have crushed you. I saw all of that. I heard every word you could not bring yourself to speak. I felt every pain you didn't know how to share. I know the burdens you've carried quietly so others would think you were fine. I know the things you've hidden for fear of confusing those around you. I know the battles you've endured in silence, the wounds cutting into your soul in ways no one else could ever understand. You thought my silence was distance, but it was not. My silence has often been a soft covering I placed upon you so you could learn calm within the storm, so you could discern the voice of fear from the voice of truth, so you could hear the gentle whisper that lives in the deepest part of your being. There were moments you thought you had lost your way, like someone wandering through a dense forest where light cannot pierce through the canopy. You searched for a way out, for an answer, for something familiar to hold on to, but all you saw was chaos and emptiness. Yet, my child, in those very moments of helplessness, I saw something sacred taking root within you. Just as a seed must remain buried in darkness before breaking forth into green life, so must your soul pass through seasons of hiddenness in order to grow strong in the most enduring way. Not all darkness is punishment. Sometimes the darkness is where I hide you to protect you from things you are not yet ready to face. Sometimes it is a birthing room where I prepare new strength, new depth, and new sensitivity within you. I see you wrestling between your desire to be healed and your fear of being too fragile to begin again. I hear your heart asking, "Why me? Why does this keep happening? Why do others seem to walk so lightly while I bear what feels too heavy?" You do not yet know that these things are not signs of neglect, but signs of calling. They reveal a strength I have placed within you and a purpose I have written over your life. The world may measure you by success or failure, but I see you by the essence of your soul, the one I crafted in my image. I see the goodness within you, even when you cannot believe it exists. I see your compassion even when you are wounded. I see your patience even when you are exhausted. I see your faithfulness even when you doubt. Nothing in you disappoints me because I know exactly how you were made. You've believed you must be strong at all times, that you cannot afford weakness, that you must appear steady so others won't lose hope. But my child, I did not create you to play the hero in every situation. I created you to lean on me. I never intended for you to carry life's weight alone. Even the heroes of Scripture, those whose stories you've heard, had moments of trembling, confusion, and surrender. What made them strong was not the absence of fear, but their decision to run to me when fear arose. What makes you steady is not that you never fall, but that you let me enter your weakness and dwell there. I know you're longing for peace, for rest, for a love without condition. I know the memories that cling to your mind like thorns, painful reminders you wish to forget yet cannot. I know the words that have hurt you so deeply they made you question your worth. But my child, I do not see you through the lens of your past. I see you through the lens of my love, through the lens of what I am still doing in you, not only what has been done to you. I see you in the light of eternal purpose. I see the wholeness I am leading you toward, and no failure has the power to rewrite that plan. You have never been too far for me to reach, never too weak for me to lift, never too broken for me to restore. Even in your darkest nights when you thought all hope was lost, I was working within you, healing wounds, unseen, gathering every fragment you dropped, caring for what you thought no one noticed. I have never stopped loving you. I have never regretted calling you. I will never abandon what I have begun in your life. Listen deeply now, my child. You are not lost. You are standing exactly where I want you to be to hear what I need to say. Every trial you've faced has not been rejection but preparation. Every tear you've shed has watered the soil of a future I've already planted for you. Every wound you've carried is a place where I will plant healing, so that one day you will become a source of comfort for others walking through the same pain. You are not alone. You have never been alone. And I, the creator of heaven and earth, am still holding your hand, guiding you through each step, each moment, each breath. My child, when I look at your life, I see not only the road you have walked, but also the treasures yet to be revealed. The sacred potentials still hidden beneath the dust of doubt. The dreams I placed within you before you even understood what longing was. Many times you've thought you were merely surviving, just getting through one day until peace returned. But I see within each breath the unfolding of something far greater. Nothing about you is accidental. No season of your life is wasted. I weave even the smallest details into a tapestry that, when complete, will leave you in awe at the beauty you helped create. I remember the days when your heart felt unbearably heavy, when old memories pulled at your spirit as though they sought to reclaim you. I saw you trying to smile while exhaustion seeped into your thoughts. I saw you fighting to appear calm so others wouldn't worry. But my beloved, you did not know that I am not writing your story based on the mask of strength, but on the truth of your soul. I do not love you because you stand tall. I love you because you are mine. I do not ask you to become a flawless version of yourself by the world's standard. I call you to become the person I envisioned from the beginning, a heart that loves, feels deeply, and seeks me both in the light and in the shadows. There have been times you watched others move through life with ease and wondered why your lessons seemed so heavy, why pain kept visiting uninvited. You thought something was wrong with you, that you were not good enough, strong enough, or worthy enough. But my child, those very experiences are evidence that you belong to a different purpose, a different calling, a different kind of growth. I did not allow the storms to destroy you, but to awaken what you didn't know you carried. The endurance you possess today was forged in the moments you stood again after being broken. The patience you have now was not born in ease, but in countless nights when you sat quietly with your own heart and no one else's voice to soothe you. The kindness you now embody did not come from ordinary days, but from the times you knew pain so deeply that you vowed never to let another suffer the same. My beloved child, you cannot yet see all that I am building within you. There are things only I can see. There are qualities that only challenges can bring into the light. There are gifts that bloom only in the very places you would rather avoid. You ask me for strength, but I know what you need is not temporary strength. You need maturity to know how to use that strength rightly. You ask me for peace, but true peace does not come from avoiding storms. It comes from learning how to stand firm in the midst of the whirlwind. You ask me for a quick escape, but I know that if you leave too soon, you will miss the treasure I have hidden within the trial itself. Do not despise your tears. Tears are not signs of weakness. Many times they are proof that you are touching the truest place in your soul. I have gathered every tear you've shed. Not one has fallen in vain. Some tears cleanse old sorrow. Some clear the way for new joy. And some are prayers your mouth cannot express. I hear them all. I understand what you do not say. I feel what you cannot share. I never take lightly what you carry inside. You still wonder why I allow things to last so long, why I don't intervene sooner, why I allow you to walk through dry seasons where nothing seems capable of growing. But my child, I have not abandoned those barren places. I am using them as a classroom where you learn to discern what is my voice and what is fear, what is my leading and what is emotional impulse, what is truth and what is deception. True maturity is not formed in ease. It is forged when you plant your feet on solid ground and remain there even when your emotions tell you to run. It takes shape when you take my hand and walk, not because you feel strong, but because you trust that I will never let go. There are moments when you think my silence means I do not care, but my silence is often the place where I teach you to hear me with your spirit rather than your emotions. I am silent so you can turn inward and hear truths that noise once drowned out. I am silent so you learn to rely on truth rather than circumstances. I am silent so you may realize that even when you cannot feel me, I am sustaining you with a strength you do not recognize. You have never stepped outside my plan. The detours you call being lost were often shortcuts leading you back into alignment. The losses you think set you behind were removing what would have hindered your future. The doors that closed and broke your heart would have overwhelmed you had they remained open. I do not measure your life by achievements. I measure it by transformation. I do not evaluate you by what you accomplish. I look at who you are becoming, and my child, you are becoming someone you will one day look back on and say, "This could only be because of him." You do not know what is coming, but I do. You cannot yet see the path, but I am opening it. You do not understand why the waiting feels so long, but I am preparing something far beyond your expectation. You do not need to understand everything in order to trust me. You only need to place your trembling hand in mine, and I will lead you through each morning, each long night, each season of trial. I will not let you lose your way. I will not let you face the storm alone. I will never allow you to encounter something beyond your endurance without also providing the way I have prepared for you. Trust me, lean on me. Allow me to finish writing your story, for the ending I have ordained is not sorrow but glory. My beloved child, when you look back on the years behind you, perhaps you see scratches, dark places, and stretches of the road that make you sigh without knowing how to name your feelings. But when I look at those same years, I see an entirely different story. I see resilience forged through trials. I see compassion sprouting in seasons that seem barren. I see gentleness blooming from the very places where you were once wounded. I see a soul that has learned to understand and comfort others through the things it has survived. And I know, my child, that such qualities cannot be formed in ease. Only those who have walked through darkness learn how to carry light for others. Only those who have been lost know how to take another by the hand in the night. You think what happened only made you weaker, but I see it making you stronger in ways you cannot yet perceive. There were moments when you sat in silence, too weary to pray, without enough words to name your pain. You believed I was distant, that I had turned my face from your cry. But my child, I have never stood even a single step away. Even when you could not speak, I heard you. Even when your mind was tangled and exhausted, I understood your heart's cry. Even when you tried to appear strong before others, I saw the trembling deep within you. There were moments you did not know where to turn, but I placed your heart in the very position where you could hear me most clearly. You thought you were sinking, but in truth I was holding you with a protection no human eye could ever see. My beloved child, so many times I have protected you from things that would have crushed you had they touched you. I have stood between you and the arrows aimed to harm you. I have closed doors you begged me to open, not to break your heart, but to keep your soul from being weakened. I have changed your path again and again, sometimes in ways that confused you, yet all to shield you from what you were not ready to withstand. You did not see the moments I stopped your steps, but I saw every one of them clearly. I have never left your life in the hands of fate. I have never surrendered your soul to chance. Everything you have walked through has been part of a precise and perfect design whose depth only I can fully understand. I know there are mornings when you wake up feeling as though the whole world is pressing down upon your chest. Only those who have been lost know how to take another by the hand in the night. You think what happened only made you weaker, but I see it making you stronger in ways you cannot yet perceive. There were moments when you sat in silence, too weary to pray, without enough words to name your pain. You believed I was distant, that I had turned my face from your cry. But my child, I have never stood even a single step away. Even when you could not speak, I heard you. But I see it all. I saw every moment you chose what was right, even when wrong seemed more appealing. I saw every moment you chose forgiveness, even while your heart still ached. I saw every moment you stood up again, even when you were exhausted. And every time you did, heaven stood still to marvel at the beauty of a soul that refuses to give up. My child, do not underestimate the small steps you've taken. Do not overlook the quiet victories no one else knew about. My beloved child, so many times I have protected you from things that would have crushed you had they touched you. I have stood between you and the arrows aimed to harm you. I have closed doors you begged me to open, not to break your heart, but to keep your soul from being weakened. I have changed your path again and again, sometimes in ways that confused you, yet all to shield you from what you were not ready to withstand. Do not dismiss the milestones that only you and I remember. Do not think that the days you merely survived were meaningless. I build the greatest things out of what seems ordinary. I birth triumphs from the days when all you could manage was to breathe. I write miracles from moments you thought you had nothing left to offer. You often think you are falling behind or failing, but I see a process unfolding, a slow, steady rebuilding of your whole being. You also wonder why your heart feels so sensitive, why you feel so deeply, why you remember so long, dream so easily, and fear just as easily. But my child, that sensitivity is not a flaw. It is a gift I placed within you. Not to make you weak, but to give you the capacity to perceive what belongs to the deeper realm. The indifferent may appear strong, but they cannot see what I am doing in the most delicate layers of the soul. Only hearts that feel can hear my whisper. Only those who know pain can learn gentleness. Only those who treasure small moments can recognize my presence in every breath. You are not weak because you feel deeply. You are strong in a way only open-hearted souls can be strong. I am not disappointed in you. I do not scold you for moments of weakness. I do not judge you for losing your composure, because I know the battles you face run deeper than anyone else can see. I do not look at your failures. I look at your returns. I look at the moments you choose to trust again after being hurt. I look at the light I placed within you from the beginning. And that light, my child, will never be extinguished. Storms may make it flicker, falls may make it dim, but it never dies. It burns sometimes softly, sometimes brightly, but always faithfully. I always bring every story to its finish in completeness. What you see as an ending is merely a page turning into a new chapter. What you interpret as loss is often replacement. What you think is silence is the moment I lay the foundation. What you mistake for delay is the time required for something good to take shape. You look at the present and think nothing is changing, but I look at the future and see that everything is changing little by little. Nothing you go through is meaningless. Nothing you endure is wasted. I gather all of it to create something that, when revealed, will make you say, "Your kindness, Lord, is beyond comprehension." So keep your heart calm. Do not rush, do not fear, do not compare, do not despair. For the path you are on is not aimless. I am guiding you step by step, and I have never been wrong. You may not see results immediately, but believe this: I am working. I am moving. I am preparing, I am building, and none of my plans for you will fail. You will look back and know that everything I did was good. My beloved child, you have felt the shifts in your emotions, the nameless whirlwinds, the sudden inner conflicts that appear as though they do not even belong to you. You have blamed yourself for the heaviness that settles on your heart, without warning, for those days when your spirit suddenly sinks, and you cannot explain why. But my child, some things do not belong to the realm of personality or temperament. They belong to the realm of the unseen battle realities. The human eye cannot detect, yet your soul senses clearly. And today I want to open your eyes to understand what I have long seen, that not everything you face comes from the world or the flesh, but from an enemy who is tirelessly trying to weaken the peace I placed within you. You have wondered why your heart suddenly feels heavy as stone, why moments of despair visit you, even when nothing in your circumstances seems wrong. You have wondered why your mind spins at night with thoughts that do not come from reality, why unreasonable fears cling to you, why some mornings you wake feeling mentally exhausted as though you fought a battle you cannot remember. My child, this is not strange. This is warfare, not an outward battle, but a battle of the soul where lies poisoned arrows and whispers of doubt. Look for the smallest cracks in your thoughts. The enemy of your soul does not need to shout. He does not need to appear terrifying. He only needs to convince you that whatever you feel is true, that your mood defines you, that the emotions passing through you are the true essence of your life. He wants you to believe that anxiety is reality, that fear is truth, that mental weariness is destiny. But my child, emotions are not the voice of truth. Emotions are winds that shift without warning, and the enemy knows how to ride those winds to whisper thoughts that never come from me. Do you remember I created you with the capacity to feel so you could connect, love, and understand others? But the enemy twists that gift so you see yourself through a distorted lens. He loves to whisper things like, "You're not enough, you're useless, you are forgotten, no one is sincere with you. You will always be on the losing side, nothing will ever change. You're a burden." Not one of these is true, but they are wrapped in emotion, making them seem believable, though in essence they are illusions. I have seen how many times you cried because you believed something that never belonged to you. I have seen how many times you pressed your lips together to hold back tears in public because a sudden wave of thoughts overwhelmed you. I have seen you stand between two voices, the whisper of truth and the noise of fear. And often you mistake that noise for my voice. I do not speak through panic. I do not guide through fear. I do not trap you with anxiety. My voice always carries peace even when I warn, clarity even when I correct, strength even when I lead you away from what is harmful. If a thought suffocates you, shrinks you, condemns you, or tells you that you are small and judged, that is not my voice. I do not speak through heaviness. I speak through illumination. I do not strike you with fear. I lift you with truth. You do not know that there are moments in the day when you are most weary that the enemy drops a small seed of disturbance into your mind, just enough to unsettle your peace. Sometimes he uses old memories to resurrect what I have already healed. Sometimes he stirs up disappointments you are trying to leave behind. Sometimes he takes an offhand comment from someone and magnifies it into a proof that you are unloved. Sometimes he uses someone's silence to convince you that you have been abandoned. He knows exactly when you are tired, when you are empty, when you are still recovering. He is not creative, but he is persistent. He has no true power, but he waits for opportunity. My beloved child, I do not want you to live in constant self-doubt, chasing shadows that are not real, or responding to voices that never came from me. I want you to be free. I want you to know the difference between my voice and the enemy's voice. I want you to recognize when your emotions are being distorted, when truth is being veiled by the fog of deception. I have placed within you spiritual intuition, a sensitivity that can discern what comes from darkness and what comes from light. But that intuition grows strong only when you stay close to me. When your mind is crowded with noise, it is hard to hear my voice. When you are tired, you are more vulnerable to believing what is not from me. When you drift from stillness, your spirit is pulled into the chaos of emotion. Not every thought that passes through your mind belongs to you. Not every feeling that rises is the voice of your true self. Not every sudden stirring is a message from your soul. Many times they are shadows, echoes, arrows, disguised as stray thoughts. You must learn to pause, breathe, and ask, what is my truth about this? Because truth is the foundation, truth is the pillar, truth is what keeps you standing no matter how your emotions may shift. My beloved child, it is precisely because you carry light that the enemy tries to dim it. Because you possess the potential to rise, he tries to make you doubt yourself. Because you carry a noble calling, he wants you to feel ordinary. He is not threatened by those who have no purpose. He fears only those who are about to step into something great. And you, my child, are one of those people. I have placed my promise within you. I have placed my grace within you. I have placed my power within you. Nothing in this world, not even your present trials, can change that. But the enemy wants you to forget. He wants you to live as someone weak when I have made you strong. He wants you to bow your head when I have lifted you up. He wants you to shrink back when I have called you to step forward. I do not say these things to frighten you. I say them to awaken you, to help you understand that what has been attacking you lately is not something strange, but a sign that you are approaching an important doorway. The enemy only strikes what has value. He only sabotages what carries potential. He only attacks those I have chosen for great things. What you are feeling is not an ending, it is a threshold. Do not panic when your spirit feels shaken. Let it remind you to run toward me. Do not be surprised when sudden fear rises within you. Let it be a sign to stand firm in truth. Do not let emotions lead you. Let truth lift you. I am with you. I am not leaving you in the battle. I am not asking you to fight alone. I am the one who hides you beneath the shadow of my wings. I am the one who calms the storm inside your heart. I am the one who separates lies from truth for you. My child, now I want to bring you into an even deeper realm of discernment. For if you only look at the surface of what you experience, you will assume you are merely changing moods, too sensitive, or just tired. But in reality, there are movements within you that do not come from psychology, temperament, or weakness. These movements come from the collision between the light I placed in you and the darkness trying to stop you. You think you are wrestling with emotions, but in truth your soul is being tugged between two opposing forces, a truth that wants to set you free, and deception that wants to distort your perception. And what makes this battle so hard to recognize is that it is rarely loud. It often begins with a small thought, a slight shift, a flicker of unease, something so subtle that if you are not watchful, it grows until you no longer know what is real and what is not. You have felt this before, haven't you? A completely normal moment. You are doing your work, and suddenly a heavy feeling sweeps over you like a cold wind. No clear reason, no triggering event, no logical explanation. But it arrives, and you find yourself shrinking inward, feeling dim, as though joy has been taken from your hands without anyone touching it. You didn't know that in that moment the enemy whispered, "You are worthless." And then a few hours later the heaviness lifts, leaving you confused. That is the nature of invisible arrows. They leave no visible mark, but they leave confusion behind. You cannot rely on emotions to measure truth, for emotions are most easily influenced when your soul is under attack. There are days your mind loops with repetitive thoughts, like a scene on replay that you cannot turn off. You try distraction, you try to stay busy, but Busyness only amplifies the noise. You think you are hurting yourself, but in reality, there is a gap and opening the enemy tries to fill. He loves to fill empty pockets of your mind with lies. He knows that a mind full of everything but me becomes fragile quickly. He does not need to destroy you in one blow. He only needs to tilt your perspective little by little until you start asking, "What is wrong with me?" But hear me clearly, nothing is wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not abnormal. I want you to learn to ask, does this bring peace? Does this reflect my character? Does this align with my truth? If the answer is no, reject it immediately. Do not debate it. Do not analyze it. Do not try to reason with it. Every lie becomes logical when you argue with it. But under the light of truth, every lie collapses. My child, I have watched you fight battles that were never yours to carry. I have seen you grow weary, trying to push back thoughts that had no name. He stirs anxiety because anxiety makes you withdraw. He amplifies fear because fear makes you doubt me. There are times you think, why am I feeling this? How can something so small affect me so deeply, my child? Often those emotions are not ones you created, but ones you absorbed. You are a spiritually sensitive soul. This is not a burden, but a gift I placed within you. But that gift must be guarded. Sensitivity without discernment is like a wide open door. During a storm, anything can blow in. But sensitivity in me is like an oil lamp shielded from the wind, glowing, steady, protected. I want you to be that lamp, bright, yet safe, sensitive yet steady. The enemy does not attack your soul only through fear. He attacks you through illusions that seem logical. He uses reasonable assumptions, plausible interpretations, but these are built on the foundation of doubt and self-blame. You've experienced this. One comment, one look, one silence, and suddenly your mind spins stories that make you uneasy. You think you are overthinking, but often it is the enemy placing a foggy lens over your eyes so you misinterpret reality. If he can distort one small detail, it becomes easy to distort bigger things later. But I do not want you to live behind that distorted lens. I give you a different one, the lens of truth, of light, of spiritual clarity. You think you are hurting yourself, but in reality, there is a gap and opening the enemy tries to fill. He loves to fill empty pockets of your mind with lies. He knows that a mind full of everything but me becomes fragile quickly. He does not need to destroy you in one blow. He only needs to tilt your perspective little by little until you start asking, what is wrong with me? But hear me clearly, nothing is wrong with you. You are not broken. You are not abnormal. I have heard you ask me to remove emotions you could not control. But many victories do not come from fighting, they come from standing firm. You think you must constantly battle, but truly I want you to learn how to stand on truth, because when you stand, lies lose their power. The enemy is strong only when you believe him. When you do not, he is powerless. You ask me, if I belong to you, why am I attacked, my child? No one is attacked more fiercely than those within my great plan. Those who live without purpose are no threat to darkness. But you are called, you are marked, you are destined to become light to those still lost. That is why the enemy trembles when you draw near to me. He tries to shake you not because you are weak, but because you are dangerous to him. He tries to make you feel small so you will never realize the power I placed inside you. My power in you is greater than every illusion darkness tries to build. The light I placed within you runs deeper than any shadow it throws at you. My presence is stronger than every subtle disturbance you feel. You are not destined to live in fear. You were not created to be manipulated by emotions. You were not designed to be confined by voices that do not come from me. You were born for freedom, true freedom, freedom that nothing can bind, freedom that no darkness can extinguish. That freedom begins when you realize this. You are not your unstable emotions. You are not your fleeting thoughts. You are not the faint echoes passing through your mind. You are the one I chose. You are the one I love. You are the one I protect. You are the one I see clearly in every breath you take. My beloved child, spiritual warfare does not erupt only in dramatic moments. It often burns quietly beneath the surface in simple, ordinary seconds of daily life. A passing thought, a faint emotion, a memory that stirs a sudden discouragement without explanation. These tiny shifts are signs of an unseen world trying to reach into your soul. I tell you this not to alarm you, but to awaken you. Only when you recognize that you are in a battle can you stand in the right position to overcome it. You once thought the enemy only attacks through pain or major events. But no, my child, he prefers the small things. He plants a tiny thought because he knows that if you are not watchful, you will allow that thought to live inside you. He drops a vague feeling because he knows your soul will weave it into a story. He resurrects an old fear because he wants you to think it rose from within rather than from the outside. He turns something tiny into a heavy burden. He turns someone's silence into proof of things that do not exist. He places a small shadow in your mind and waits to see if you will build walls around it. Here is the truth. Darkness has no authority to destroy your mind unless you believe what it says. It cannot create reality. It can only suggest illusions. It cannot define you. It can only persuade you to embrace lies. It cannot break you. It can only trick you into hurting your own soul through false conclusions. The enemy does not fear those with intense emotions, sharp intellect, or impressive reasoning. He fears those who can discern. A discerning soul is like a sharpened sword. Even a faint light can reveal the path. Once you learn to distinguish my voice from the echoes of darkness, you will see freedom rising in you like dawn. Discernment is not about feeling things well, but about standing firmly on truth. Not everyone who is sensitive can discern, but those who stand in truth cannot be shaken by lies. Such people know how to stay still when their emotions fluctuate. They know how to look at reality with eyes illuminated by me. They do not chase every thought that passes. They pause and ask, does this reflect his nature? They question their emotions instead of letting emotions question them. Some thoughts are merely visitors. You do not have to invite them in. You do not have to serve them tea. You do not have to sit and analyze their stories. Let them go. Let them pass like the wind. You were not made to house worries. You were not born to shelter lies. You were created to carry light, and light never bows to darkness. In spiritual battle, stillness is not emptiness. It is a strategy. Stillness is when I reorder things inside you. Stillness is when I blow away what does not belong to you. Stillness is when I pull you out of the noise of emotion so you can hear me more clearly. Stillness is not a sign of my distance. Stillness is the moment I place my hand over your being and say, be still. Those who do not understand me run from stillness because they fear facing themselves. But you, my child, when you enter stillness, you step into the place where I restore you. You step into the realm where darkness cannot intrude. You immerse yourself in a rest the world cannot offer. Do not fear stillness. It is your armor. I have seen you try to fight your emotions with your own strength. You tried to push them away, tried to think positively, tried to comfort yourself, tried to stand by sheer willpower. But my child, willpower is not enough to defeat darkness. Willpower brings you to the threshold of peace, but my power brings you inside that peace. You were never meant to battle alone. You were meant to stand with me. When you stand by me, every lie loses its authority. When you take refuge in me, every attack loses its power. When you let me fight for you, you will win without being drained. My child, do not be surprised that the battle grows more subtle. That is not because you are weakening it, it is because you are strengthening. You are drawing closer to the things I have appointed for your life. You are approaching doors that once opened will change your destiny forever. The enemy knows this. He knows that the moment you step through this threshold, you will never be the same. He knows that if you recognize the truth I have planted in your soul, he will never again be able to distort you. He knows that a soul matured in me leaves darkness powerless. I say this to put your heart at ease. Darkness trembles because of you. Not because you are strong in yourself, but because the light I placed within you terrifies it. You do not see that light with your natural eyes, but the spiritual realm sees it clearly. When you stand firm, you are not only protecting your own soul, you are causing darkness to retreat. Continue to follow my voice. Let truth take root deep within you. Let my peace cover every inner stirring. Let me teach you how to listen with your spirit rather than your emotions. You are about to step into a new season, a season in which your sharpened discernment will become the key that unlocks things you never imagined. I am here, I am speaking, I am guiding, and I will take you farther than you ever dared to dream. My beloved child, what you have gone through was not only to help you recognize the truth about darkness, but also to reveal the truth about yourself, that you are not as fragile as you think, not as weak as you fear, and that within you a new strength, a new depth, and a new foundation are being formed, one you have never possessed before. I have begun a work in you, quiet yet powerful, reshaping the very structure of your inner being from the roots up. What you have been feeling in recent seasons is not collapse but renewal, not the end but transition, not loss but preparation. You once asked me to heal the deepest wounds. You cried, you sighed, you poured out your heart before me in nights you thought no one could hear. You begged me to soothe the memories that exhausted you. You asked me to remove the nameless fears. You asked me for a peaceful heart. And my child, I heard every one of those prayers. But what you did not know is that true healing requires me to touch the roots you have hidden for so long. There can be no lasting restoration if the roots remain wounded, no true renewal if the foundation is cracked. I never do things halfway. When I heal a soul, I heal from within, at the origin of everything. You do not see this full process, because it unfolds in silence, in the depths your mind cannot reach. But I see it. I see every fracture in your soul from the days of your childhood. I see the hurtful words spoken to you that you thought you had forgotten, yet still linger in the corners of memory. I see the disappointments never released. I see the dreams you had to bury because of circumstance. I see the rejections you never voiced, but that still shape how you see yourself. I see the moments you had to be strong before you ever learned how to be safely vulnerable. I see the situations where you were not protected when you should have been. When I begin healing these things, you will feel strong movements inside. Some days you will experience a strange peace, as though I am wiping dust from long-forgotten corners of your soul. Some days you will feel tired as though carrying an invisible weight. Some days old memories will surface without warning. Some days your heart will ache unexpectedly. Some days you will feel empty, but light. Some days you will feel sadness that does not crush you but frees you, sadness that releases sadness that allows you to move forward. And all of these things, my child, are signs of true healing. Do not fear these movements. Do not panic when your emotions shift. Do not think you are going backward. You are being made new. Just as an old house must have certain parts torn down to build a stronger foundation, so I am doing to you. Not everything that collapses is loss. Sometimes it is released. Not everything that falls away is broken. Sometimes it is preparation. Not every tear is pain. Sometimes it is the rain that washes away the dust of old years. I want you to understand that healing is not always gentle. Sometimes it feels like a soft breeze, but sometimes it feels like a strong winter wind. Sometimes it is peaceful, but sometimes it stirs. I do not do this to confuse you. but to uproot what has clung to your soul for too long. Certain old pains must be lifted so you can finally face them and hand them to me. Certain wounds have been buried so deeply that you thought they no longer existed, yet they still shape the way you love, the way you trust, the way you live. If they are not brought into the light, they continue to create storms within you. I am freeing you from things you did not know you were carrying. I am loosening knots you believed had turned to scar tissue. I am breaking old structures that no longer serve your life. I am replacing false beliefs with truth. I am pulling out distorted images of yourself that others unknowingly placed inside you. I am rebuilding in you a healthy confidence, not pride, but the understanding that you are valuable because I created you. I am restoring your ability to trust, not blind naivety, but trust grounded in truth. I am reconstructing your capacity to love, a love that is mature, patient, and free. Many think healing means feeling relief immediately, but true healing is reconstruction from the foundation. It does not merely soothe the surface, it remakes the base. It does not simply calm the chaos, it changes the way you respond to chaos. It does not only remove pain, it transforms pain into treasure so you can strengthen others. It does not only take away the old, it makes space for the new. My beloved child, I know that in this journey there are moments you want to quit because you do not understand what is happening. But I tell you, do not stop. Every time you feel like quitting, you are near a breakthrough. Every time you feel exhausted, I am touching the deepest place. Every time the process feels strange, I am doing something new. You are not weak when you feel weary. You are being renewed in a way you have never experienced before. I want you to remember, this healing does not happen in isolation. It happens in companionship. I am there in every trembling breath you take, in every moment. You begin to understand what you once could not, in every tear you hand over to me. You are not walking through this process alone. I never break you. I break only what does not belong to you, so that you may stand firm in the version of yourself you were always meant to become. In the work I am doing deep within your soul, there will be seasons when you feel as if you no longer recognize yourself. Not because you are turning into someone else, but because I am peeling away the layers you have worn for years. The layers shaped by fear, formed by people's expectations, born from self-protection, and woven from wounds that never had the chance to be spoken. You thought those layers were you, but they were only things that attached themselves to you as you grew up in a broken world. And now, as I begin to remove them, you will feel both empty and relieved, confused, yet free. That is not instability. That is reshaping. That is the process of returning to the form I originally designed for you. You do not know how many things you have carried that never belonged to you. Expectations others placed on your shoulders, expectations you unconsciously adopted, careless words you absorbed as verdicts, old failures you turned into your identity, vague fears that ended up shaping your thinking, rejections you treated as lifelong sentences on your worth. You were molded into a shape I never created. And so when I begin to break that mold, your soul trembles. But my child, no rebirth happens without shaking. No restoration is complete unless the old pieces are removed. I have watched you try to be strong, not because you wanted to, but because you believed you had no other choice. I saw you swallow words you longed to speak for fear of disappointing others. I saw you avoid your own needs so you could be a shoulder for someone else. I saw you force yourself to appear okay even when you were breaking inside. I saw you try to become useful so you might be accepted. I saw you shrink yourself to keep others at peace. And I say to you, these things are not humility, they are wounds. Humility is knowing your worth without needing to shout it. Woundedness is believing you have no worth unless you earn love. My child, I did not create you to live in such smallness. I created you to stand upright and gentle, strong yet tender, full of compassion yet firm, in your boundaries overflowing with grace, yet protective of your own soul. To bring you back into that beautiful version, I must rebuild your foundation. I must melt the layers of ice you used as walls. I must uproot the tangled roots of doubt that grew in your mind since childhood. I must free you from patterns of thinking that have suffocated your soul for years. You ask me, how will I know this is you working and not me falling apart, my child? You will know by this, my restoration always leads you into truth. Even if you experience mixed emotions, the end result is clarity. Even if your mind feels stirred, your heart will become lighter afterward. Even if old memories resurface, they lose their grip once you hand them to me. My work never leaves lasting chaos. It only stirs what must be stirred, so I can lift you out of stagnation. The chaos of darkness leaves confusion. The chaos of my hand leaves freedom. In this season, you will begin to feel my touch more clearly, not through loud signs, but through subtle yet steady movements, small yet deep nudges. You will suddenly understand things that were once blurry. You will feel heavy questions lose their weight. You will find answers to long-kept burdens without forcing anything. You will realize that the psychological heaviness you carried begins to lift as though someone is removing it from your shoulders, and yes, that someone is me. Beloved child, I will also begin awakening new desires within you, desires you thought had died or never belonged to you. It may be the desire to live freely, to create, to love in healthy ways, to open your heart without fear of being wounded. It may be the desire to pursue something you abandoned because you thought you were unworthy. It may be the longing for a deeper connection with me, not a connection built on routine but on love. These desires do not arise by accident. They are the signs that I am renewing your soul. The most important thing in this journey is not how you feel, but that you allow me to work. Healing does not require you to understand every step. It requires surrender. Surrender is not giving up. Surrender is opening the door within and letting me touch the places you have kept hidden. Surrender is stepping out of self-control so I can do what you cannot do for yourself. When you surrender, you do not lose power. You gain true freedom. You have often believed that to be okay, you must fix yourself. But my child, your strength is enough to maintain, not enough to transform. Only I can transform. Your strength can keep you from collapsing, but it cannot heal the root. You need my hand, the hand that knows exactly where you hurt, where you broke, where you were neglected, where warmth is needed. I am the one who reshapes without breaking, who removes without wounding, further, who touches without infecting the wound. You do not need to strain to be healed. You only need to open. And what I am about to say is crucial. The renewal you are experiencing is not only to heal you, it is to prepare you for something greater. Your soul is not being restored just to live quietly. It is being restored to step into vision, to carry influence, to bring healing to others, to become a voice in an age of confusion. You were not chosen merely to survive. You were chosen to stand firm, then stand tall, then lead. But before I lift you up, I must make your foundation strong, so that when I elevate you, you will not collapse under the weight of the blessing. The rebirth you are walking through is not merely an emotional shift, but a transformation of essence. You are moving from being shaped by old patterns into being led by truth. You are stepping out of years of self-protection and into the spacious freedom I have prepared for you. What is happening within you is not improvement, it is metamorphosis. You are not becoming better. You are returning to the person I originally designed you to be. There are moments when you notice that you no longer react the way you used to, no longer flare up the way you once did, no longer fear in the old familiar ways, no longer bruise at the slightest touch. It feels as though you are carrying a new heart, strange yet peaceful. What you do not realize is that in those moments, I have already altered the emotional structure within you. I have recalibrated the way you feel, the way you think, the way you respond to life. It is not that you are trying harder to be strong. It is that your inner being is being rebuilt on the foundation of maturity. Previously, your battles began with resistance. Now, they begin with peace. Previously, emotions rushed ahead. Now, truth leads. Previously, you pushed to control everything. Now you are learning to lean on me and live free. My child, it is normal that this transformation feels unfamiliar. When light returns to a room long shut, dust rises before it settles. When roots are healed, the tree trembles. When the heart is changed, the mind needs time to adapt to the new truth. What you are experiencing is not abnormal. It is the natural process of a soul growing up. I see you beginning to realize that things you once assumed were just your personality were actually the reflexes of old wounds. I see you recognizing that many things you feared no longer hold power. I see you discovering that the limits you set for yourself were actually leftovers from broken places. I see you noticing that the relationships you clung to no longer align with who you are becoming. I see you recognizing that your protective habits sometimes kept you from receiving real love. I see you sensing a peace inside that requires no effort. My child, these are signs you are being renewed. Rebirth requires partnership, not because I need your help, but because I honor your will. I never force you into what you are not ready to receive. I guide, I invite, I softly stir, but you are the one who must open the door. And you have opened little by little, even when you didn't realize it. When you said, I don't want to live the old way anymore, that was a door opening. When you said, I want real peace, that was a door opening. When you whispered, heal this in me, that was a door opening. And I stepped in not to judge, but to recreate. True strength is not the absence of trembling. It is placing that trembling into my hands. True maturity is not mastering every detail. It is trusting me enough to release what never needed your control. You have done this more than you know. You thought you were too tired to fight, but you were actually surrendering. You thought you were giving up, but you were actually letting go of what never belonged to you. From this point on, I want you to become more aware of one thing: your rebirth will require daily choices. Not heavy choices, subtle but decisive ones. Choices to stand with truth instead of emotion. Choices to pause when your mind starts spiraling into assumptions. Choose to trust me even when your soul wavers. Choices to be gentle with yourself instead of self-condemning. Choices to release what is old instead of holding on. Choices to let me lead instead of fear guiding you. You are not responsible to change yourself. That work belongs to me. But you are responsible to walk with me. I do not ask for perfection. I ask for presence. You do not need to move fast. You only need to move in the right direction. You do not need to run. You only need to walk. I will walk with you. I will refine you. I will guide you through each old layer until you see yourself clearly again. You will find that a healed soul no longer overreacts to pain. You will notice you are not as easily pulled into lies. You will hear my voice more clearly in the midst of inner noise. You will find yourself less afraid of loss, less afraid of love, less afraid of the unknown. You will become steady, not heavy, strong, not hardened, resilient, not guarded. A new strength will rise within you, not a strength born of striving, but a strength born of my presence within you. My child, hear me speak this to you with the deepest tenderness. You are about to enter a season where everything I have done in secret will become visible. The lessons you thought you were trapped in forever will become the ground you walk on. The wounds you believed would follow you for life will become evidence of my healing. The burdens you feared would never break will become memories of liberation. I do not merely heal, I restore. I do not merely clean, I renew. I do not merely remove what is old, I replace it with what is better. My beloved, the version of you that is emerging is not an accident. It has been shaped by my love, my patience, my power, and the seasons you thought were wasted, but were in fact the most vital part of your journey. You do not fully see it yet, but I see. You do not fully understand, but I know. You cannot imagine the glory I am preparing to reveal through you, but I have been preparing it for a long time. When the deepest fractures have been touched, when the old dust has been cleared, when long shut doors begin to open, I want to speak to you about the new reality you are stepping into. This is not merely recovery, this is rising. Not merely healing, this is unveiling. Not merely a return to balance, this is the season you become what I saw in you from the beginning, my child. The old phase has passed, and you no longer stand where you once stood. A part of you still believes you are in ashes, but you are actually standing on new ground, the ground I preserved for this very moment. During the months you thought were delays, I was rebuilding pillars inside your soul. I was planting seeds of steadiness, underground rivers of wisdom, and fibers of resilience that storms cannot tear apart. These things cannot be formed overnight. They are built through the repetition of small but faithful choices, through days when you trusted me, even when nothing changed, through moments when you sighed, but still refused to let hope die, through nights when you were weary, but still returned to stillness. Every tear you have shed has been used as water. Every prayer you whispered became a plow, turning the dry soil of your soul. And now, in the very place you once felt empty, I am causing new sprouts to rise stronger, deeper, and more enduring. What I am doing to you is not merely so you can stand firm. My child, standing firm is only the beginning. I am preparing you not just to rise, but to rise higher. You have walked through healing, so you may carry healing. You have walked through darkness, so you may carry light. You have walked through silence, so you may hear my voice more clearly. You have walked through pain, so you may see the hearts of others with eyes the world does not possess. Nothing you have lived is wasted. No season has been meaningless. No trial has been purposeless. Every thread has been part of the preparation for you to become an echo of what I am doing in this generation. I want you to know this so you will never doubt it again. You are set apart. Not in a way that exalts you, but in a way that sanctifies you. Not to pull you away from others, but to position you to walk beside and uplift them. Not so you may be honored, but so you may become an instrument of something far greater than your own life. You are not chosen because you are strong, but because you are willing. Not because you are unscarred, but because you allowed me to touch the wounds. Not because you are flawless, but because you did not hide the places that needed to be remade. Souls that open themselves are souls I can use, and you, my child, have opened yourself. You may not yet see clearly what I am doing, but I see. You may not yet feel the fullness of the strength within you, but I feel it. You may not yet believe you are enough, but I declared your calling long before you took your first step on this journey. You are not entering a new season because you qualify for it. You are entering it because I have called you, prepared you, and marked you. You are not defined by your weakest days. You are defined by the one who is strong within you. My child, I know you wonder, am I ready? Do I have what it takes? Will I be able to stand? But readiness is not the absence of fear or trembling or doubt. Readiness is placing your fear in my hands. Readiness is letting me hold your trembling. Readiness is allowing me to lead you through the very things you do not yet understand. You do not step into this chapter because you are certain. You step into it because you trust. And hear me clearly. You are ready not because you are perfect, but because you are humble. Not because you know everything, but because you know how to lean. Not because you are strong, but because you allow me to be strong within you. My silence in past seasons was not the silence of abandonment. It was the silence of construction. I was not quiet because I was distant, but because I was laying foundations. I knew that if I spoke too soon, you would run by emotion instead of building roots. I knew that if I revealed too quickly, your eagerness would outrun the process. So I withheld my voice, not so you would lose your way, but so you would learn to recognize me in the stillness. And you have learned well. You have learned to hear the whisper. You have learned to distinguish the pleading of fear from the guidance of my spirit. You have learned to slow down and no longer assume every inner stirring is reality. Now that the foundation is established, I am speaking more clearly, more strongly, more consistently, not because I have just arrived, but because you have matured enough to listen. You have been pulled out of confusion. You have been freed from the fog of doubt. You have entered what I call the light of truth, where you finally see yourself with the eyes I placed upon you, my beloved. This honest light will change everything. It will allow you to look at the past without pain, only gratitude. It will allow you to face the present without confusion, only peace. It will allow you to anticipate the future without fear, only hope. This light is what I am placing within you today. You are not merely healed, you are being empowered. You are not merely restored, you are being commissioned. You are not merely rebuilt, you are being lifted up. My child, prepare yourself. The season of merely surviving has ended. The season of abundant living has begun. As you enter this rising season, it is not only your soul that is being renewed. The spiritual atmosphere around you is changing. When a soul is healed from within, that healing does not remain internal. It radiates, expands, and touches everything around it. And now, even before you fully notice it, your very presence has shifted. You no longer carry the heaviness of someone struggling to stand. You carry the quiet authority of someone set on solid ground. Your gaze carries a new depth. Your spirit carries a new stillness. Your breath no longer trembles as it once did. You are walking as one who has been reshaped, and the spiritual realm sees it more clearly than you do. Things that once terrified you no longer shake you. Lies that once crushed you now echo faintly and fade. Emotional waves that once drowned you now ripple harmlessly at your feet. What you do not realize is this: your spiritual stature has changed. When roots are renewed, the tree does not merely survive, it aligns itself with the light. You are in that moment, the moment the tree of your life begins to rise and stretch toward the light I provided, even when you believed you had nothing left to reach for. I want you to understand why I built your foundation so deep. It is because you are not called to stand in low places. You are called to stand in high places, not high in the world's sense, but high in vision, discernment, leadership, and wisdom that I have prepared for you. I placed you here not because you are flawless, but because you allowed me to shape you. You allowed me to adjust the hidden corners few are willing to surrender. You allowed me to touch the sensitive places you guarded for years. This willingness is why I can trust you with more. When a soul is healed, it becomes sensitive to truth. It recognizes the truth quickly. It discerns the motives behind words. It senses the atmosphere of a situation without needing explanation. It hears my voice more clearly because the old wounds no longer blur the signal. You are entering that territory, the territory where my light seeps into every thought, every perception, every reaction. What once took you months to understand will soon be clear in moments. What once overwhelmed you will no longer move you. What once kept you up through long nights will be settled with a single whispered prayer. Watch yourself closely, my child, and you will begin to see these things. You will see a steady peace, not the fragile kind that depends on circumstances. You will see a rooted stability, not the kind born from forcing yourself to be strong, but a calm that rises from within. You will see clarity, not because you think harder, but because your spirit is brighter. You will see strength, not by willpower, but by the breath of life I am breathing into you. And you will find yourself responding more slowly to negative triggers, not out of apathy, but because you are no longer the same person who once bruised easily under the weight of others' words. Do you know what causes a person to truly change? Not when they try to become better, but when they begin to see themselves through my eyes, and I am opening your eyes so you may see your true worth. You are not ordinary. You are not insignificant. You are not forgotten. You are not left behind. You are not the sum of failures, mocking words, or comparisons spoken over you. You are the masterpiece. I am still shaping not with hurried hands, but with the precision of one who knows every fold and fiber of your soul. I want you to enter this season with a new confidence, not the kind rooted in pride, but in identity. That identity does not come from compliments, achievements, or recognition. It comes from my name written over you. You carry my mark. You carry my breath. You carry the intention I planted in your spirit. When you walk, you do not walk in your own name. You walk in mine. When you speak words of kindness, they are not spoken in your strength. They flow from my grace. When you face challenges, you do not stand alone. You stand beneath the covenant I placed upon your life. My child, you are not only loved, you are held inside a covenant far stronger than any curse the darkness ever tried to place upon you. You will soon see that the things which once unsettled you no longer have power. Not because they vanished, but because you have outgrown them. A child trembles in the dark, but when they grow, the same shadow loses its grip. You have grown spiritually, emotionally, perceptively, steadily. No one can take that from you. No circumstance can steal that maturity. No voice can dull what I have placed within you. In these past seasons, I have protected you from things you could not see. I kept unhealthy relationships from getting close. I pushed away those whose intentions were not pure. I closed doors that looked promising but hid traps. I delayed things you begged for because if you received them too soon, they would have pulled you off course. I let certain opportunities slip away so your soul would remain safe. And you thought you were failing, but in truth you were being preserved. Now that you are stronger, I will open the doors I once kept shut. You will step into environments that fit who you are becoming. You will meet people who strengthen your soul. You will walk into opportunities perfectly timed. You will recognize divine alignment in the smallest details. And every open door will not be the result of striving, but of my orchestration. My beloved, I am preparing to lift you higher, not so you may be admired, but so you may carry life into barren places. But before I elevate you, I must remind you, never return to the way you once saw yourself. You are not as small as you feared. You are not as fragile as you once felt. You are not as invisible as you used to believe. You were created to stand tall, to carry light, to clear a path for those who cannot yet see. When I say you are entering a new season, I do not merely mean your circumstances will shift. I mean you yourself have changed so deeply that the things which once had power over you no longer can. A weak arm cannot lift heavy weight, but when the muscle strengthens, what was once overwhelming becomes routine. Likewise, the things that once shook you will soon become small challenges because the strength within you has grown by my hand. That strength is not something you manufactured. It is the result of allowing me to free you, heal you, and rebuild your inner life. You are no longer the person of the previous season. The old limits no longer apply. The old frameworks no longer contain you. The old fears no longer have a place to cling. You have crossed through the doorway of healing and stepped onto the field of freedom. You are not merely standing on new ground. You are new ground. You are not merely stepping into a new season. You are carrying the new season within you. You are not only liberated from the old, you have become the testimony of the new thing I am doing in this generation. My child, I am placing authority in your mouth, not authority to dominate others, but to release yourself and those whom I bring into your path. In this season, your words will carry a different weight. not because you know more, but because you will speak from a soul that has been healed. Words spoken from wounds cause harm. Words spoken from healing carry life. You have allowed me to touch the deepest parts of your soul. Now when you speak, you will release comfort, understanding, and peace without striving. Your presence will become a refuge for the weary, because they will sense what I have done inside you. The people who have been drawn to you recently are not an accident. They see something in you that you have not fully named: maturity, stillness, wisdom forged in fire. They recognize that you do not speak from theory. You speak from experience refined by my hand. And because of this, I will continue sending wounded souls your way, not to burden you, but so you may become the gentle stream through which my healing flows. Remember what I say to you: a new season requires new boundaries. When you grow, not everyone can go with you. When I open new doors, some will try to enter not because they love you, but because they want to hide in your light. You must discern. You must understand that kindness does not mean the absence of boundaries. You can love without carrying someone else's soul. You can help without sacrificing your own well-being. You can open your hands and still keep the gate of your spirit closed to those with hidden motives. This is why I have built discernment so deeply within you. For a healed person without discernment is easily exploited. But you, my child, are different. You have learned to recognize my voice. You have learned to perceive motives beneath the surface. You have learned to sense the spiritual atmosphere of a person through a single word or gesture, not to judge them, but to know how to protect your own soul and walk according to the purpose I have set before you. You are no longer blinded by flattery. You are no longer swayed by urgency. You are no longer deceived by those who appear kind on the outside, yet carry hidden agendas. You will see clearly, not with natural eyes, but with the light I placed in your spirit. Discernment does not make you cold. It teaches you to love the right people in the right way, to the right measure. It teaches you when to welcome someone in and when to keep a safe distance. It teaches you when to speak and when to remain silent. It teaches you what I want you to engage with and what I want you to step away from. Discernment is the compass I give you in this season, not just for survival, but for strength. Your rising will attract the attention of darkness, but do not fear. A lamp lit in a dark room causes the shadows to stir, but the darkness cannot extinguish a light it did not create. You do not guard yourself. I guard you. You do not have to fear attacks. I go before you. You do not have to live in exhausting vigilance. I am your fortress. When you advance, darkness may try to draw near to test if you are still the same, but it will find the strength I have placed in you and it will retreat. Remember this: what I build in you cannot be destroyed by the enemy. What I set free in you cannot be bound again. What I open in you cannot be closed by human hands. And what belongs to you in this season cannot be stolen. You will notice this change most clearly when you face new challenges, not because challenges disappear, but because your soul has changed. You will see yourself calmer in the storm. You will find you no longer make decisions from emotion. You will pause to hear me before reacting. You will notice fear losing its grip. You will say no more easily to what does not belong to you. You will guard your inner peace as if it were treasure. This is the season in which I give you new authority. Not the authority of domination, but of presence. Not the authority of force, but of peace that dissolves chaos. Not the authority of loudness, but of stillness that makes the enemy tremble. Not the authority of the burdened, but of one who knows to whom they belong. My child, this is the moment you shift from the posture of one being healed to the posture of one who carries healing, from the posture of one being led to one who knows how to listen, from the posture of one seeking protection to one who knows they are already covered. What I have done to you was never just to make you stand up, it was to make you walk in the direction I ordained for you before your feet touched the earth. You have been accustomed to asking me for every step, every detail, every instruction. But in this new season, I am teaching you to walk in maturity. Maturity does not replace dependence on me, it deepens it. Maturity does not make you independent of my voice, it makes you more sensitive to it. So you will know when I speak clearly and when I want you to walk in the wisdom I planted within you. I did not call you to remain a child forever. I have nurtured you so that in time you might rise, hear my voice in peace, and walk without being driven by fear or held back by doubt. Look back on the road you have traveled not to regret but to recognize what has changed within you. You once trembled before small choices. Now you can stand before big decisions without panic. You once sought approval from people. Now you wait for my voice more than theirs. You once begged me to act immediately. Now you know how to wait for my timing. You once feared choosing wrong. Now you understand that no matter which way you go, I am big enough to redirect your steps. This is maturity, not perfection, but the confidence that your life is fully held in my hands and you cannot slip from them. Do not think that calling means loud actions or grand gestures. Calling first begins as the flow of my spirit within you, a quiet, steady stream. A stream that does not depend on applause or spotlight. A stream that requires only one thing: your willingness to let me use your life as a river of clarity in the desert of this world. You may think your calling is far away, but I tell you, calling begins in your consciousness. When your inner world is renewed, you begin to see assignments that were invisible before. You will see the wounded whom others overlook. You will hear the silent cries behind polished smiles. You will sense the weary breath hiding beneath brave voices. You will touch their souls with a single word, a glance, a gentle presence filled with peace. That is where calling begins, where I use you as a river flowing through the dry ground of humanity. I know you still ask me, am I truly called for something great? Am I capable? Am I willing enough? And I say to you, readiness is not a feeling, it is a response. You do not need to feel capable. You only need to agree to step forward. You do not need to know everything. You only need to let me guide you. You do not need to be strong. You only need to let me be your strength. I do not seek the perfect. I seek the open. And you, my child, are the open one. You opened your heart in the hardest days. You opened it when you had nothing to offer but broken pieces. You opened it while trembling, afraid of more pain. You opened it when disappointment could have closed your heart forever. And that openness sets you apart. That openness is why I chose you. That openness creates the pathway for me to fill you with wisdom and understanding not everyone can receive. My beloved, as I call you into this season of movement, I do not want you worrying about whether you are enough. Because in this season I will give you exactly what you need, exactly when you need it, not earlier, not later. You do not need to store up strength. You only need to lean on me daily, and I will supply strength for that day. Like manna in the wilderness, it could not be hoarded, could not be saved for tomorrow, so will your spiritual nourishment come to you each day exactly as needed. This keeps you close to me and keeps your heart tender to my voice. In this new season, I am not only calling you to receive, I am calling you to pour out, not by effort, but by overflow. When your vessel is full, overflow is natural. You do not need to create influence. Influence will flow from the quietness of your soul. You do not need to shout to be heard. The peace in your voice will be loud enough to reach the deepest places in others. You do not need to strive for the extraordinary. Just be faithful in the small things, and the extraordinary will come in my timing. I am leading you into a place where you will sense my presence, not only when you pray, but also as you work, rest, walk, converse, and think. I will become the atmosphere you breathe. You will recognize me in the smallest moments. You will see me moving in events that seem completely ordinary. You will see my hand woven into every turn in the road. You will see my arrangements as clearly as daylight. You will begin to discern my guidance not only through direct words, but through a deep sense of peace, through gentle promptings, through doors that open naturally, and through opportunities that appear at precisely the right time. The coming season will not push you into fear. It will pull you into strength. It will not throw you into confusion. It will lead you into clarity. It will not drain you. It will make you overflow. I have prepared you long enough. Now is the time for you to operate in what I have given you. Now is the time for you to step out of the place of one who is learning and into the place of one who is being used. Now is the time for you to stand in the position you were meant to occupy. My beloved, as I lead you into a season of operation, you will notice that the things which once made you hesitate no longer create inner delay. Not because everything has become easy, but because you are more deeply connected to me. A child needs their hand held for every step, but a mature one knows how to walk when my hand rests on their back, guiding more by peace than by a loud call. You are at that point now, the point where my silence does not unsettle you, but strengthens your confidence to move forward. Not because you know everything, but because you know me. For years you have felt you were lacking this, missing that, behind others, or underqualified to begin. But today I tell you plainly, everything you think you lack is actually waiting for you on the other side of obedience. You are not lacking faith, you simply have not used it yet. You are not lacking wisdom. It is resting in the depths of your spirit, waiting to awaken when you listen for my voice. You are not lacking strength. You just have not yet stepped into places where I can reveal it. Everything you need for this season was sown into you in the seasons you thought were useless. Do you remember the days when you thought you were standing still? The months when you pleaded for change but nothing seemed to move? The weeks when you felt left behind? The seasons when you thought I was not speaking, not moving, not answering? My child, in those very moments I was doing the deepest work. Maturity does not grow out of noise and motion. It is shaped in the repetition of quiet steps. I used every one of those days to build inner layers, layers of patience, layers of faith, layers of endurance, layers of compassion, layers of understanding, layers of discernment. These things cannot be formed in moments of glory alone. They are forged in stillness, through testing and through perseverance. Now, as I lift you into a season of operation, those foundations will become your greatest treasure. The season of operation is not a season of strain, but of flow. It is not about striving to prove your worth, but living from the awareness that you already have it. It is not about forcing yourself to achieve, but about stepping into what I give. It is not about doing as much as you can, but surrendering to where I lead. I am not asking you to become a machine for spiritual work. I desire you to be a vessel able to receive, to carry, and to pour out. I do not need you to run fast. I need you to walk in the right direction. I do not need you to try to shine. I need you to stand where my light can shine through you. In this season, you will begin to sense my movement in ways you never expected. You will begin to notice constant coincidences that are in fact my orchestration. Unexpected encounters will turn out to be bridges I have built. Thoughts that come at just the right moment will turn out to be my voice speaking in your mind. Opportunities that arise when you have almost given up on your ability will be signals that I have put everything in place. You will see me opening doors gently, not with thunder, but with a natural ease no one can deny. You will see things you once had to fight to obtain now flowing toward you like water, not because you are lucky, but because my timing has arrived. Not because you are impressive, but because you have walked through the process I required. The season of operation demands inner stillness. Not the stillness of withdrawal, but the stillness of alignment. Not avoidance, but attentive listening. Not escape from the world, but guard your inner atmosphere so the world cannot distort my voice. In this time, I will teach you to live from the inside out, not from the outside in. Your circumstances, will no longer decide your emotions. My peace will direct how you respond to circumstances. People's words will no longer define your worth. My words carved on your heart will. What your eyes see will no longer rule your mind. My truth will teach your eyes to see everything through the lens of heaven. You have spent the last season healing. Now you will begin to live from the place of healing. You will notice something else. Situations that once made you tense will now be handled with a strange, deep peace. Not because life is lighter, but because your inner roots are heavier. Not because trials are gone, but because you have learned to stand firm without exhausting yourself. Not because lies have disappeared, but because they no longer find a foothold in you. I am preparing you for something you have not even imagined. You will carry influence you did not chase. Not because you demanded it, but because I entrusted it. Not because you lifted yourself up, but because I lifted you. Not because you fought your way in, but because I opened the way. You were made to shift atmospheres. You were called to alter the climate around you. You were appointed to become an answer for those who cannot even put their pain into words. And there is only one thing I ask of you: stay close to me. When you are close to me, your heart stays soft. When you are close to me, your mind stays clear. When you are close to me, your steps stay aligned. When you are close to me, your words carry life. When you are close to me, you do not have to strive to become. You simply have to be present. You are exactly where I intend you to be. And from here you will watch me open door after door, gently yet decisively. Each door will lead you into a new version of yourself. Not a version shaped by wounds, but a version completed by my glory. My child, in the season I call the season of operation, you are stepping into a completely different landscape where everything I have sown into you through long, quiet years begins to blossom. Those seemingly silent seasons were not wasted at all. They were the fertile soil nourishing your strength from deep within. I have used those unseen months to enlarge the capacity of your soul so that every part of you could grow in stillness and patience. Like a seed hidden in the ground before it reaches for the sky, you have gone through years where every movement was internal with no applause, no spotlight, no audience. Yet, my child, it is in those unseen days that your foundation was built with a resilience no outward power can imitate. As I bring you into this time of revealing, you will see that all the repetitive experiences, the vague emotions, the hard-to-accept lessons, have been converging into a maturity you have never had before. You will notice that you now respond to life with deep peace instead of fear. You will find my word coming to you quickly and clearly, as if the fog that once covered everything has vanished. You will see that what once sent you into panic now becomes an invitation to greater calm and clarity, not because the storms weakened, but because the soil of your soul has toughened, not because the wind softened, but because your roots have gone deeper. What I want to remind you today is this: your purpose is not imprisoned by your past. The wounds that once made you feel devalued have no authority to define you. No sin can cancel what I have ordained. No failure can overturn the plan I wrote before you were formed in your mother's womb. You have seen old battles as obstacles, but I have seen them as instruments of training. The tears you tried to hide have been watering my seeds of hope. The moments when you thought you were collapsing were the very moments I was adding new roots. Not a single moment has passed that I did not use to prepare you for this hour. You are standing before a door I call the promised land of your soul, a place you were meant to inhabit long ago, but for which you needed time to grow. Everything you thought was delay has been the measuring line of maturity I used to lift you step by step. My child, from this day forward, I want you to understand, you are no longer called to live in the cramped space of fear or perceived lack. You are invited into a much wider place where you do not merely survive but flourish, not only learn but lead, not only receive but give. This is the season in which I am enlarging you not to burden you, but to make you a natural channel of the life I have placed within you. I will open your eyes to see that the vision you once held was only the first layer of many deeper levels I have prepared. You once thought your calling was small and quiet, but I declare that the reach of your life will extend far beyond what you ever imagined. Not because you strive to go far, but because I am widening your path. Not because you work hard to make an impact, but because I have placed an impact within you. Not because you seek the crowd, but because the crowd will seek the light within you. And that light is not yours, it is mine, magnified through the very places you once thought were broken. My beloved, I have refined within you all that does not belong to you, so that now you may walk with a lightness that carries unshakable strength. You will see your words bring healing not from knowledge, but from a soul that has been healed. You will see your presence bring calm to hearts that are silently crying. You will see your past experiences become bridges that help others grasp hope. I have crafted within you an anointing oil that could only be formed through tears, waiting, and surrender. There is no fragrance sweeter than ashes I have turned into beauty. When I lift you up, there will be those who try to step into your new space, not to walk beside you, but to lean upon the light you carry. You must discern wisely. This is not coldness, it is faithfulness to what I have entrusted to you. You are not permitted to open spiritual doors carelessly. You cannot allow just anyone to touch the new season I am building in you. Boundaries are not walls, they are fences guarding the vineyard you are tending. Love does not mean forfeiting peace. Kindness does not mean allowing others to harm the parts of you that were healed at a great price. What I have built in you cannot be destroyed by darkness. What I open, no one can shut. What I have destined, no one can steal. You do not step into this season by your own strength, but under my protection. Wherever you go, I will go before you. Whatever you speak, I will place power in your words. Wherever you stand, my angels will surround you like an invisible fortress. The only thing I ask of you is to keep your heart close to mine, for that is the safest place of all. From now on, your experience will begin to change, not because life becomes easier, but because you have risen above the level where you were once easily wounded. You will look at turbulent waves through the eyes of one who knows that the vast sea no longer threatens a vessel with a steady rudder. You will see confusion that once made you tremble now becoming puzzles you solve with quiet confidence. You will find yourself entering conversations you once thought you were too weak to join. You will see doors open where you were once rejected. You will watch prophecies I planted in your heart slowly unfold into reality. Remember, I did not lift you up so you could stand alone. I lifted you so you could become a sign of my faithfulness to the world. You are living proof that waiting is never wasted, that healing always carries purpose, that surrender always leads to freedom, that my hand is behind every seeming coincidence. What I have spoken to you is not for a few weeks or months, but for a journey your eyes have not yet seen in full. There will be moments when you feel my presence strongly, when my word flows like a fresh stream, when you weep under my tender touch and think, if every day were like this, life would be perfect. But my child, life with me is not defined only by mountaintop moments. It is woven from ordinary mornings, from uneventful days, from quiet walks on familiar roads, from still moments in the rhythm of daily life where there are no signs or wonders, only silent trust. I am not only the God of mountains, I am also the God of level roads, of repeated paths, of humble tasks. And I want you to see the sacred within the ordinary. Child, you have learned to find meaning in pain. Now I want you to find meaning in simplicity. You have sought me in tears. Now seek me in laughter, in the gentle breeze, in the sip of water that refreshes you, in the quiet conversations in the eyes of someone lifted by your words. You often think that only through storms and challenges do I work and you grow, but no, my child. True maturity is measured by how you live out truth in small things, how you choose faithfulness when no one is watching, how you respond in what seems trivial. I led you through fierce seasons to teach you to know me. Now, I want to teach you to walk steadily with me through calm days. If you cling to me only when things shake, yet loosen your grip when life seems peaceful, you will miss much of what I long to share with you. From now on, your journey with me will not be a string of mountaintops nor a straight, predictable path. It will move like breath in and out, forward and still motion and rest. There will be days you feel my voice clearly, and days you hear only silence. There will be seasons of energy and inspiration, and others where you slow down, feeling less fervent. There will be times of clarity and times when it feels like walking through fog. But my child, I do not change with those fluctuations. I remain steadfast, holding your hand whether you feel me or not. I am not adjusted by your emotions, nor do I withdraw because your heart feels dry. Dry days are not proof that I have left. They are invitations to live by faith rather than feeling. I know there will be times you grow tired again. I know there will be mornings when you wake up wondering if my promises still stand. I know there will be seasons of waiting when what I said has not yet taken visible form. I know there will be moments when you feel you are back at the starting point, when emotions surge, when old thoughts try to return. And in those moments, the enemy will whisper that what I spoke was an illusion, that your healing was only emotional, that your strength was just temporary. But my child, remember this: a seed does not vanish because the soil looks dry. Roots do not disappear because the sun is harsh. I do not cancel the work I began with you just because you have a few weak days. You have not become your old self again just because old memories revisit your mind. You must remember your new identity is built upon truth and covenant, not upon emotion or circumstance. I want to teach you a new rhythm, the rhythm of abiding. Abiding is not passive stillness. It is the choice to anchor your soul in me each day, to keep returning to me again and again, whether you think you're doing well or not. Abiding is coming back after every stumble, instead of withdrawing in shame. Abiding is continuing to say yes to me in small things, even when you see no results yet. Abiding is keeping your heart tender, even when life tempts you to close it off. You do not need to be strong all the time. You only need to keep coming back to me. Every time you return, I do not tally points, I open my arms. Every time you draw near, I do not interrogate, I embrace. Every time you sigh before me, I do not call you weak. I count it as a silent prayer. You think you need polished words and eloquent lines, but sometimes all it takes is one whisper: Lord, I'm tired. And that alone is enough to move heaven's heart. What I am doing in your life is not only for today, but also for tomorrow, for those who will come after you, for a generation you have not yet seen. You think you are simply trying to stand firm through your trials, but in reality you are altering an invisible current in your family line, in the atmosphere where you live. When you choose forgiveness instead of bitterness, you cut off a stream of poison that has flowed for years. When you choose to speak life instead of curses, you plant a new echo into the atmosphere of your home. When you choose to return to me instead of running away in despair, you open a new path for those younger than you to walk in. Your faithfulness today is an inheritance for people who will never know your name. You cannot see them, but I can. I see your descendants, your spiritual children, the hearts that will be healed simply because you did not give up. And so the small choices you make each day carry eternal weight you cannot yet comprehend. My beloved, I am not asking you to live a flawless life. I know you will still have days of impatience, moments of weakness, reactions that do not align with my heart, times when you say what you should not say or do what you should not do. I know. I saw every one of your limitations long before I called you. If I wanted people who never stumbled, I would not have chosen you. But because I knew you would stumble, I prepared the way back in advance. I prepared grace in advance. I prepared gentle reminders in your heart. I prepared patience to wait for you to rise again. What I desire from you is not perfection, but trust. Trust that I am still here after your failures. I want you to believe that our relationship is not fragile. I want you to believe that every time you return, I do not see you as a failure, but as a child growing, learning to love, to trust, to walk. In this long journey, I will teach you how to care for both your body and your inner being. You have been accustomed to giving until you collapse, thinking that pushing yourself a little more is always the answer, while I never intended for you to live depleted. I want you to learn to rest not only in your mind, but in your body as well. I want you to know that sleep can be a way I hold you. A nourishing meal can be my provision for you. A slow walk, a pause without productivity, these can be my voice whispering, "Rest in me." Your body is not your enemy. It is the vessel I have given you to live out what I placed within you. When you care for it with wisdom, you are not being weak, you are obeying. When you dare to stop, you are not retreating, you are allowing me to restore you. I will also teach you to enjoy the small joys I place throughout your day. A beam of sunlight through the window, a sudden burst of laughter while talking with someone, a moment when your heart feels light for no clear reason. A simple question that touches the tender part of you. None of this is accidental. They are small dots in the larger picture I am painting. If you once saw me only in obvious miracles, now I want you to see me in ordinary miracles, to a heartbeat, still steady breath, still smooth, a new morning arriving, a heart still soft enough to feel. All of these are grace. You do not need to know the entire path ahead in order to take the next step. I do not give you a detailed map because I do not want you clinging to the map and forgetting me. I choose to walk with you in sections, giving enough light for the next step so you will keep lifting your eyes toward me. When you do not know what to do, return to what you always know. I love you. I am with you. I will not abandon you. I am wise enough to lead, powerful enough to redirect, merciful enough to forgive, patient enough to wait. From there, do the best you know in truth, and entrust the rest to me. Maturity is not measured by never feeling confused, but by knowing where to turn when you are confused. So step into the remaining years of your life not as someone thrown into a battlefield, but as someone walking with the one who has already overcome. Continue returning, continue listening, continue trusting, continue loving, continue forgiving, continue rising. There will be beautiful days and weary days, bright seasons and dim seasons, but through all of it, I remain who I am. And the bond between you and me is held by my hand, not by your strength. All you need to do is hold my hand one day at a time. The rest I will take care of. My child, now that your soul has learned to walk with me, even in the most ordinary days, I want to take you deeper into a new level of awareness, the level of mature discernment. You still think discernment is needed only when facing clear temptations, strong attacks, or major decisions requiring wisdom. But my child, true discernment is not proven in dramatic moments. It is revealed most clearly in quiet choices, passing thoughts, and small, unnoticed decisions. I want you to know that these small things determine the true direction of your spiritual life. The enemy never begins with a violent storm. He begins with a gentle breeze pressing against places you are not watching. A vague thought about lack, a subtle feeling that you are not enough, a soft whisper suggesting others do not care, a moment of wondering whether I still hear you. These things are not loud, not sharp, not obvious. They are like drops of water falling on a stone, capable of wearing it down over time. That is why I want to teach you to recognize subtle movements in your heart, not to make you fearful, but to keep you awake, unfooled by whispers that are not from me. Pay attention to small shifts within your emotions. When joy fades suddenly for no clear reason, do not dismiss it as a passing mood. Come to me and let me search your heart. When you suddenly want to withdraw from people even though nothing significant happened, ask me what is trying to slip in. When you feel isolated even while surrounded by love, pause and seek me. because isolation is one of the enemy's most delicate strategies. It does not begin with outward separation, but with inward disconnection. It makes you close your heart, even when you are surrounded by healthy relationships. It makes you step back when you should lean into unity. It makes you suspicious of the very people I placed beside you to support you. This is one of the enemy's most dangerous tactics because it quietly dries up the wellspring of life within your soul. But I am not letting you step into that place alone. I am teaching you a new kind of alertness, not one rooted in tension but in closeness. When you stay near me, you will recognize falsehood more quickly. When your spirit is nourished consistently, strange voices cannot blend into mine. When you walk in the peace I give, anything, no matter how small, that tries to steal that peace will become immediately noticeable to you. That is true discernment, recognizing what is not from me the moment it begins to appear, rather than waiting until it grows into something you must fight fiercely. My beloved, discernment does not make you suspicious of everything. Discernment makes you free. When you know what comes from me and what does not, you will no longer waste your strength on battles that are not yours. You will no longer be dragged along by negative trains of thought. You will no longer be drained by invisible anxieties. You will no longer have to wonder what is right, what is wrong, what to continue, and what to release. Discernment does not weigh you down. It delivers you from uncertainty. You will walk lighter, steadier, deeper, because you know every step is grounded in truth. Not every open door is a door I have opened, and not every closed door is a rejection. Some open doors look appealing, like opportunity, like blessing, but inside them I am not there. And some doors I close are not signs of your inadequacy. They are shields protecting you from roads you will later thank me for blocking. Do not evaluate my guidance by the appearance of the door. Evaluate it by the peace in your spirit. If something unsettles your inner being, no matter how beautiful it seems, pause. If something brings lightness, even when few agree with you, follow it. Peace is not a feeling, it is my signature. As you begin stepping into this new journey, you may feel the urge to do more, push harder, hold on to many things at once, afraid of missing opportunities or slowing down my will. But my child, nothing I have planned for you will ever require frantic striving. You do not need to race against time. You only need to keep pace with my voice. When I want you to move quickly, I will give you strength. When I want you to slow down, I will give you peace to pause. But in both, you must remember I am the one carrying the story, not you. You cannot pull the future into the present before its time, and you cannot shut what I open simply because you assume you are not ready. Slowing down is not falling behind. It is how I keep your soul from breaking rhythm. I do not want you to run until you collapse. I do not want you to do so much that you can no longer hear me. I do not want you to become productive at the cost of intimacy with me. I care about you more than about what you accomplish. I want your heart healthy more than your success loud. I can raise others to accomplish great things, but I have only one you to love. So I will teach you how to walk with endurance, not rushed, not hesitant, steady, deep, mature. My child, the greatest maturity I am forming in you now is not in your skill or diligence, but in your ability to trust me even when everything moves slowly. Trust me when the promise is still forming. Trust me when what I say is not yet visible. Trust me when your heart longs for a pace faster than mine. Trust me not only when my voice is loud, but also when it is soft, so soft that only those who are close can hear it. You are learning to walk with me as a companion, not as a fearful follower. And it is here that you will realize I do not merely lead you, I walk with you. I do not abandon you halfway. I do not lead you into a desert just to leave you alone. I do not begin a story with you only to leave it unfinished. I do not speak a word without intending to fulfill it. I do not plant a seed without watering it. I do not kindle a flame without sustaining it. All you must do is take each day, each step, each decision, each prayer, each breath, and I will do my part perfectly. Believe this, you are moving in the right direction at the right pace in the right season, exactly where I have placed you. I want to speak something to you, not only for today, but for the years ahead. Your journey does not end here. It is only beginning. What I have spoken, what I have built, what I have arranged within you is not a burst of emotion or a temporary spiritual phase. It is the foundation of a new way of living in which I walk with you day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment. You have walked through the season of falling and rising. You have walked through the season of breaking and healing. You have walked through the season of silence and learning to listen. You have walked through the season of fear and learning to rest in my arms. You have walked through the season of darkness and learned to recognize even the smallest light. You have walked through the season of testing and learning to discern truth from counterfeit. Now you will step into a season of revealing, not in the way you imagined, but in the way I have ordained. What I am preparing for you does not lie in shortcuts, does not belong to spectacle, does not depend on the fading lights of this world. What I prepare lies in the realm of steady radiance where quiet steps echo loudly in the heavens. This is the season where every choice connects to eternal purpose. Every action touches another soul. Every word can open a door to healing, and every morning carries an assignment that only you, yes, you have been entrusted to fulfill. I have placed within you a flame that no circumstance can extinguish, no accusation can dim, no failure can erase. That flame has been nourished by your tears, by every moment you chose me over fear, by every weary step you took in perseverance, by every surrender you made to preserve what is sacred. This is not an emotional fire. This is the fire of covenant. I lit it with my own breath. From this day forward, that flame will not only warm you, it will illuminate those around you. You will begin to see your life touching people you never knew. You could reach not through grand speeches or public recognition, but through the way you live, authentically love, genuinely forgive, deeply, stand faithfully, and seek me wholeheartedly. You will become a living testimony to those searching for direction in the dark, not because you are perfect, but because you allowed me to rewrite your story. What I do in you will become a mirror for those who doubt that healing is real, that renewal is possible, that freedom exists. They will look at you and see hope, not hope placed in you, but hope placed in me, the one who has done the miraculous work within you. The road ahead will not be filled only with gentle light. There will still be challenges, but you will walk through them from a different place. You will no longer fight like someone panicking. You will fight like someone who knows they never fight alone. You will no longer fear silence. You will understand that even silence carries my whisper. You will no longer be pulled around by the fear of abandonment. You will know that I never leave you. You will no longer need signs to know I am guiding you. You will sense that guidance from within where I dwell, where my spirit pours deep peace like a river. What I have spoken, what I have built, what I have arranged within you is not a burst of emotion or a temporary spiritual phase. It is the foundation of a new way of living in which I walk with you day by day, hour by hour, moment by moment. You have walked through the season of falling and rising. You have walked through the season of breaking and healing. You have walked through the season of silence and learning to listen. You will see me in the eyes of someone needing comfort in a word you are about to speak, in a sudden ease within your heart, in a gentle thought sent by my spirit. You will learn to walk without fear of making mistakes, because you will know that I can correct every step you take. My beloved, you were not sent into the world merely to survive. You were commissioned to bring life. You were not called only to get through. You were called to rise. In this new season, I will teach you how to walk with the lightness of one who knows they are loved instead of the haste of one afraid of losing something. I will teach you how to love without burning out, how to give without running dry, how to open your heart without being wounded, because I will place sacred boundaries within your spirit. I will teach you how to hear my voice among 1,000 noises, how to recognize me in things that seem ordinary. I know there will be days ahead when you will tremble again, grow weary again, and wonder again whether you are still on the right path. But I say to you, when you tremble, I will steady you. When you are tired, I will support you. When you doubt, I will repeat the truth. When you fear, I will hold you. I do not love you according to performance. I love you according to covenant. I do not stay with you because of your emotions. I stay because of my promise. I do not keep you by your own strength. I keep you by my power. And my power has never weakened, never changed, never been late. No matter how far you go, how high you rise, how low you sink, or how wide you wander, I remain the place you return to. Not because you are fragile, but because you belong to me. Not because you always need me, but because I always desire you. I never grow tired of your presence. I am never bothered when you call. I never close the door when you knock. I never turn cold when you draw near. I am the source of your life, and you are the child I love with an unbroken love. I place this final word in your heart as a seal for the journey ahead. Walk, believe, abide. Shine my light, for I am with you yesterday, today, and forever. Wherever you go, whatever you do, whatever you face, whatever shifts within your heart, I still speak this one truth to you, the truth I declared from the beginning, the truth that will echo into eternity. I love you. I choose you, and I will never leave you. Thank you for listening to today's message. Be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so we can continue receiving the living word together, building unshakable faith and walking in the boundless love of God. Amen.